Chapter 3 Test Review. Number 1. The population of a town changed from 2,600 to 3,330. What is the percent of increase? The proportion we're going to use for this is change over the original equal to the percent, which is what we're looking for, over 100. The problem tells you it is a percent of increase, plus you can see it did increase from 2,600 to 3,330. To find the change, you subtract 3,330 minus the 2,600. 0 minus 0, 0. 3 minus 0, 3. You have to borrow from the 3 to make it a 2. To make the 3 a 13. 13 minus 6 is 7. The change is 730. You will now take the change, 730, and put it over the original. The population of the town was originally 2,600, equal to the percent, which is what you're looking for, out of 100. To solve the proportion, we use cross products. $2,600, and the percent we're looking for, we're going to call X, equal to 730 times 100. To get the X by itself, you divide by 2,600. Golden rule of algebra, whatever you do to one side, you do to the other. Now the problem that you need after you mark out the 2,600 over 2,600 is 730 times 100 over 2,600. You can simplify this by taking one zero top and bottom of each other until you run out of zeros. So 1 for 1. That's like dividing top and bottom by 10. 1 and 1 again is like dividing top and bottom by 100. And that leaves you with 730 divided by 26. To find our percent, we will divide 26 into 730. 26 times 2 would give you 54, which is not enough. Or maybe it is. What is 26 times 3? Oh, 78. That's too much, so you do have to go with the 2. 2 here above the 3, and that gives you, did I say 54 before? 52. Then subtract 3 minus 2 is 1. 7 minus 5 is 2. Bring down the 0. Let's jump out there and see if 7 will work for the next one. Remember, it's always good to leave your scratch on the paper in case you need to use it again. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 182. Let's try 8. 28 times 8. ends in a 4, 6, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 22, 'I accidentally changed the problem. I get my eraser, erase that 8, erase my answer here. That's supposed to be a 6. 26 times 8 is 48. 8, carry a 4. 8 times 2, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Oh, that'll work. 8. So that's 208. So bring down, subtract. If you bring down another 0, notice that 28 can't even go into 20. And if we're rounding to the nearest whole percent, 28.0 would be 28%. Let me write that here in my open space. 28%. 28% increase. Number 2. The price of an item has increased 15% since last year. Use P for last year's price and write an expression of the increased price. P represents the price from last year, and you want to figure out what the new price would be, so that would be in addition to the old price. Then you'd have to find 15% of P of P. There are a couple ways you can look at that. Of is times, so you could say P plus, change 15% to a decimal also. You could put times P, or you could put P plus 1500ths P, which would also give you the price increase. You can use the parentheses, or you could just put the number next to the variable without a plus or minus, knowing that that means to multiply. Number 3. Bob invested $5,000 at a simple interest rate of 3%. In 5 years, how much interest will he have earned? This is from Chapter 3, Lesson 8, where we had interest, is equal to the principal times the rate times time, or I equal P RT. You would multiply the principal, which is 5,000, times the rate, 3%, as a decimal, 1, 2. That is correct, would be 3 hundredths, and the time, 5 years. You should see quickly that you can multiply the 3 times 5, which is 15, and move it over 2 times, which will give you 15 hundredths. Number 4. There were 50 students in the chess club. The membership went up by 10%. How many more students joined the club? This is a percent of a number problem where you have to find the percent of, which means times, 50. Change your percent to a decimal. That would give you 1/10, or you could say 100,000, 10 hundredths. But it's easier if you leave it at 1/10 times 50. Go to the side and multiply 50 times 1/10 gives you 50. Move it over 1, gives you 5. How many more students join the club? 5 students. If the question were to ask you how many students are in the club now, then you would add 5 plus 50 to get 55. But the question asks how many more students join the club. That would be 5 students. Number 5. A cell phone cost $120. The price is reduced 30% for a sale. How much is the savings? The price was reduced. This would be considered a markdown or even a discount. So we have to find what 30% of 120 is. 30% of, meaning to multiply, 120. You have to change the percent to a decimal. Move it over 2 places to the left. That gives you 3/10 times 120. 3 times 12 is 36, and bring down the 0. But don't forget to put the decimal back in. Move it over 1. $36 is the amount of the discount. So you take $120. The question asked for how much is the savings? $36 is the answer. That is the savings. If you want to find out how much the cell phone is going to cost now, you have to subtract the 36 from the 120 to get what we call the selling price. The new price of the cell phone would be the $84, but the savings is $36. Number 6. A shopper buys 3 notebooks for $5 each. The percent of sales tax is 8%. Write an expression to find the total sales tax. An expression is a problem that would allow you to solve this problem. First, you need to find out how much money was spent on the notebooks. You bought 3 notebooks for $5 each. That would give you, inside the parentheses, the answer of 15. But in an expression, we just need to write what the problem would be. If you spent $15, you still had to pay the sales tax, so you would have to multiply that by the 8%. And then those would have to be, that would allow you to find the total sales tax. So 3 times 5 multiplied by 8% as a decimal, 8 hundredths, would give you the sales tax. That would give you the sales tax. If you wanted to find the total cost, at the end of that problem, you would have to add the sales tax to the cost of the item. The population of a town was 25,000 people. Then 3,200 people moved away. What was the percent of decrease? We're going to use the same formula that we used on number 1. That would be the change over the original equal to the percent, which is what we're looking for, percent of decrease out of 100. First you have to find the change, which is 25,000 minus the people who moved away. Subtract. You have 21,800 people that are still in the town. So the change, which was 3,200 over the original of 25,000, equal to the percent out of 100. This is where you use your cross products to solve the proportion. $25,000 percent is your x, that's what you're looking for, equal to 3,200 times 100. To get rid of the 25,000 on the left, you divide by 25,000, and whatever you do to one side, you do to the other. The 25,000s cancel, x is by itself. That's what we're looking for, which is the percent. Oh, we have a lot of zeros we can cancel here. For every zero on the top, you can cancel a zero on the bottom. That leaves us with 320 over 25. Think about money when you're working with 25. How many quarters are in a dollar? Correct, there are 4. And so how many quarters would be in $3? That's 12. So 25 goes into 320 12 times. Multiply, that's 300, $3 worth, 20, and bring down the other zero. How many 25s are in 200? That would be 8. So x would be 12.8, which would round to the nearest whole percent of 13, or you can leave it as a decimal. I think it may be a decimal on the test, so leave it as a decimal, but if you had to round that up, it would be 13%. Number 8, in 3 years, a gym membership went up from 6,400 to 8,400. Write an expression, yes, just a problem, that shows how to find the percent of increase. So once again, we're looking at a percent of increase-decrease problem where you have to find the change. The change can be gotten from taking the 8,400 minus the 6,400. So as part of an expression, we know we have to take 8,400 minus 6,400. That would give us our change of, looks to be 2,000. Then, what do we have to do with the change in order to find the percent of increase? Remember, change over original equal to the percent out of 100. So the change is the 2,000. The original was the 6,400. We don't know the percent, So if we did our cross products, we would have to divide what we had there by 6,400. That would give us a decimal, and then we would multiply by 100 to get the percent. Number 9 refers back to the definition of markup. A markup is a percent increase or decrease. Yes, hence the word up, increase. This problem is similar to another one on the review. A toy store marks down every toy by 25% in January. Use P for the price in December to write an expression of the price in January. 25% is 25 hundredths. That is the mark down in January. So if you mark something down by 25 hundredths, what are you actually paying? You're paying 75%, which is 75 hundredths. And you would multiply that by the price, P, to get the price in January after the discount. This is an expression. Number 11. A market buys mixed nuts at $15 per pound. They want to make a 20% profit. What should they charge for the retail price? This would be a markup, and you would have to figure out what the 20% profit would be from what they paid for the mixed nuts. So you take your $15 and multiply by the 20%. 15 times, move it over twice, times 2/10. 15 times 2/10. 15 times 2 is 30. Bring it over 1. So the markup for the nuts, for the mixed nuts, would be $3. So if they paid $15 for the mixed nuts per pound, and they marked them up $3 per pound, the question said, what should they charge for retail price? That is correct, $18. Number 12. The price of a graphing calculator is $80. The sales tax is 7%. What is the total cost of the calculator? So not only are we finding sales tax at a rate of 7%, we have to add that to the cost of the graphing calculator to get the total cost. Sales tax converted to a decimal would be 7/10. Multiply 80 times the, 7 hundredths. Multiply the 80 times the 7 hundredths. 7 times 8 is 56. Add a 0, that'd be 560. And bring it over 2 spaces. So the sales tax, just the sales tax, is $5.60. We have to add the $80 to the $5.60. So the final selling price, the total cost of the calculator, is $85.60. Number 13. An amount of $4,000 is invested, and the interest rate is 2%. What is the amount of interest earned? You're going to do this like we did on the other one on the review. I equal P RT, principal being the $4,000, multiplied by the 2%. 2% as a decimal, move it twice, would be 200ths. It says an amount of $4,000 is invested and the interest rate is 2%. What is the amount of interest earned? Anytime they don't give you time, you use time as equal to 1. That makes this problem easy. Now you only have to multiply 4 times 2, which is 8, and add the 1, 2, 3 zeros. 1, 2, 3. Remember, anything times 1 is itself. And then put in your 2 decimal places from your 2 hundredths. So the correct answer is $80. Number 14. Stuff Mart buys a bicycle for $150 and sells it for a retail price of $300. What is the markup? We're trying to look for the percent of. That is correct. It did go up. What percent did it go up is what we're looking for. What is the markup? So we have to find the change. In price from 300 to 150. When you subtract, you get 150. So the change, which is 150, over the original of 150 is equal to the percent out of 100. Use your cross products. 150% x equal 150 times 100. Divide both sides by 150. You should be getting good at this now. Notice the 150s cancel here, so we're looking for x, which is the percent. Look, 150 over 150 cancels. We're left with 100, and that's the answer, 100%. What is the markup? 100% markup. They actually doubled the price, 100%. 15. Amanda increased the amount of protein she eats every day from 48 to 54 grams. By what percentage did Amanda increase the amount of protein she eats? Another percent of change problem. Change over the original equal to the percent, which is what we're looking for, out of 100. She now eats 54. She used to eat 48. That's a change of 6. Change of 6. 6 is the change over 48 being the original, equal to percent out of 100. Use your cross products. 48 now is 48x is what we're looking for, the percent, multiplied equal to 6 multiplied by 100. Divide both sides by 48. You should know, or at least recognize, that 6 and 48, 48 is a multiple of 6. 6 goes into itself once, and into 48 8 times. And the 48's cancel. So you're left with x equal to 100 over 8. If you know your 8 facts, you'll know that 8 goes into 100 12 times. 8 goes into 100 12 times. That's 96. 4 left over. If you bring in 1 0, you can make that 12 and 5 tenths. 12 and 5 tenths. X is equal to 12 and 5 tenths %. That is the correct answer. So by what percentage did Amanda increase the amount of protein she eats? By 12 and 5 tenths %. As you can see, we definitely want you to know how to work the percent increase and decrease problems, because here's another one. Number 16. The price of a laptop was reduced from $450 to $360. By what percentage was the price of the laptop reduced? This is another change over original problem. Change over original equal to the percent out of 100. What is the change from 450 to 360? That is correct, 90. So take your 90 and put it over the original, which is the 450, equal to the, you can go ahead and put x here, over 100. We will use our cross products. 450 x equal to 90 times 100. Divide both sides by, that is correct, 450. 450. The 450s cancel. Yes, you have 1 0 top and bottom right there. And if you know your facts really well, you should recognize that 45 plus 45 is 90. 45 goes into itself once and into 90 2 times. You don't have anything left on the bottom but a 1. And then 2 times 10 on top. 2 times 10 is 20. So your percent that it was reduced by was 20%. 20% discount on the laptop.